Wendy Williams has been an open book when it comes to her personal life, which has recently advanced to include dementia and aphasia. Her 2-decade marriage and messy divorce from ex-husband and former manager Kevin Hunter has long been a hot tabloid topic. From the beginning of their romance in 1994 to welcoming their son Kevin Jr. in 2000, Williams and Hunter's relationship has seen its fair share of ups and downs. After more than 20 years together, Williams ultimately filed for divorce in 2019, following reports of Hunter fathering a child with his mistress. Wendy Williams is currently under a lot of media attention and debate as a result of the controversial documentary, Where is Wendy Williams? Furthermore, with aphasia and dementia issues, shifting roles for legal guardians, and a slew of family claims, it's a difficult map to travel. However, her ex-husband, Kevin Hunter Sr., believes that the Lifetime docuseries overlooked some major themes and bad faith behaviors involving the legendary television personality. Specifically, he said that Williams' sister Wanda took advantage of her under the false assumption that she would reclaim her show. Where is Wendy Williams? Is certainly a question her fans have been asking for a while now, as they find her pretty irreplaceable. At the end of her show's run, Williams ranked among the top daytime talk show hosts, after Ellen DeGeneres, who ended her show in May 2022, and the women of The View. While Sherri Shepherd has received positive feedback, the lack of a goodbye from Williams has been met with concern and mixed feelings. The tide has turned on the kind of lurid gossip Williams traffics in. Just look at the way the pop culture news cycle of the early 2000s is being reevaluated. Still, her mix of boldness and vulnerability kept her on our screens. Who is this woman anyway, and who let her on stage? Wendy Williams built her career on saying things other people wouldn't say. Born in New Jersey, she got her start in radio in the late 1980s. She worked her way up through DC and New York-based stations, and by 1993 had earned a Billboard Radio Award, honoring her as the R&B Major Market Radio Air Personality of the Year. Wendy gave her listeners candid advice and shared the details of her own life dramas. Williams was known for her fiery, unapologetic personality. One old fan said she's been watching her shows for years. She speaks her truth. She says what everybody wants to say, but is too afraid to say. She has her flaws, and she's not afraid to say it. She has Graves' disease, she has lymphedema. She went through a terrible divorce. She said everything. What else does she have to prove to anybody? Despite the drama, Williams' brashness attracted television execs, and in 2008 she was asked to do a trial run of her own syndicated talk show. It was a sweeping success. Aside from her talk show, Williams has done stand-up, acted in movies, written books, and appeared in a Broadway production of Chicago. Just this past January, she simultaneously released a biopic and a documentary through Lifetime. While a host like Ellen DeGeneres speaks to celebrities the way a friend would, Williams spoke to and about them as if she were not also a celebrity. She had no issue prying or having guests on the show that she had previously gossiped about. She separated herself from the celebrity tribe and put herself at the level of the viewer, ignoring the tension that might exist between her role and her own fame. The format of The Wendy Williams Show never changed much over time. Neither did its host, who remained often brutal toward celebrities. According to her fans, this is part of the appeal, but also not always their favorite thing. It seemed like random shots fired, but in Turner's opinion, there are some people who Williams just does not like, and it affected her coverage of them. She used to come for the Kardashians, but then she met them, and then she changed the narrative. While Williams' opinions could flip-flop much to the annoyance of some of her fans, they also reflected a very human impulse. Williams got paid to be judgmental, which is what a lot of people spend all day doing for free. Online, we're all talk show hosts who can fire off a hot take tweet, go on a live rant, or create a slideshow of opinions theorizing on a celebrity romance. In fact, many online comment sections, threads, and forums use Williams as a tool. Between user clapbacks and questions, her image dances, stares, and grimaces in GIF form through it all. Her relevance continues because Williams' image has arguably become bigger and more significant than her actual show, maybe even bigger than Williams herself. Now, after more than 2 years out of the spotlight, and recently disclosing that she has been diagnosed with primary progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia, in the new documentary, she shows the remarkable transformation and the tough times she endured in her prolific career. It would be ungenerous to say that this saga is just karmic retribution for the fact that on The Wendy Williams Show, and in her radio days, Empathy was never really part of the conversation, as the host picked apart public figures' lives for entertainment and shock value. Williams made a name for herself in the 90s and 2000s, asking unfiltered, no-nonsense questions to even the most guarded of celebrities, going after A-list divas like Whitney Houston, Beyoncé, and Mariah Carey. Her no-holds-barred approach to the celebrity interview, problematic as it could sometimes be a breath of fresh air on a bloated lineup of daytime TV. The documentary shows a dizzying timeline of events, focusing on a few significant episodes, beginning with the COVID-19 lockdown in 2020, when Williams' behavior became increasingly erratic until she was discovered unconscious by her colleague DJ Boof in May of that year. Alcohol looked to be the culprit. She went on to have many blood transfusions in the hospital. When the program was set to return that fall, her son tried to persuade her to stay in Miami and prioritize herself. While it's unclear what transpired next, we do know that when $100,000 was removed from Williams' Wells Fargo account, the bank claimed she had been a victim of financial abuse by her son. By the end of the documentary, we have more questions than answers. If Williams agreed to be filmed for a Lifetime documentary before her court-appointed guardianship began in 2022, and then, as her family claims, began to deteriorate in physical and mental health, could she truly have agreed to be followed again by cameras later on? Was she even of sound mind to consent in the first place, given that her claimed substance usage began well before the guardianship? Is she simply being utilized, and if so, by whom? Viewers are divided on whether the documentary effectively serves its aim. Some are unsure of what the purpose is in the first place. Williams' publicist, Sean Zanotti, whom she recruited for crisis management in 2022, alleges that the program that broadcast was not what she or Williams agreed to when Lifetime approached them. If her family is to be believed, the purpose of releasing this footage was to reveal faults in the United States guardianship system, implying that it could happen to anyone in a vulnerable state, not only celebrities. However, the final cut appears cheap, and at the end of the day, this project was filmed for a brand known for its trashy, ripped-from-the-headlines films and investigations into controversial personalities. The network's ratings tripled when it aired. Regardless of the producers or her management's intentions, or how she has treated others, Williams is a vulnerable person who needs to be treated with fundamental human decency. Yes, she was a bully on the streets, but at home, she strived to be a caring mother, and at one point a supportive and faithful wife. It's terrible to see her struggle with the reality that her son hasn't been in her life since she left his care, in Miami, of 2022. She definitely adores him. Every time Kevin Jr. is mentioned, she lights up, never allowing anybody else to say anything negative about her kid. At one point, she declares that when she dies, she wants Kevin Jr. to inherit all of her property. One thing Wendy knows and said in her docuseries is that she only knows how to be celebrity. It can be left to assume that those cameras and lights shining on her allowed her to have moments that tapped back into her old life of once again being in the spotlight as celebrities are, and giving a small piece of comfort whenever her disease hadn't taken over in the moment. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to never miss the future notifications.